Are we back up? Oh, just back to the video. There we go. Yeah, I think we're back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. What is a reduction cap on? If you're
It's
talking about,
25%.
what is he talking about?
I don't know, but I'm assuming you mean cost reductions, which would be 25%. I think has been floating around.
Yeah, something like that. Do you think? Did you hear about the speculation of arenas? I don't think there'll be arenas. I think based on the ESO head leaked BG map thing, I'm guessing that maybe there'll be like a battleground that you can use while leveling up, but I don't think it'll be for level 50. The reason I say that is because Dark Age of Camelot, the game that this entire Cyrodiil is based off of, has the same system. They have battlegrounds while leveling up. So maybe that's an option. If you don't want to go into the big war, you can go into a smaller war over one keep. A benefactor said that the keep that's mentioned in the quest is on an island, so it makes sense. DK two-hand resto staff with... Okay, guys, please, when you're like doing a question, try not to have like 15 abbreviated things in it, because it gets really hard to understand. DK two-hand resto staff with HA or destro staff.
Don't know what
Resto,
HE is.
yeah, Resto LADK. Majority PvE, mild PvP. Yeah, I'm not. I have no idea what you're saying.
It's like,
You're speaking French. I'm sorry. You're. Maybe I don't know all the abbreviations that are going around on the forums right now.
So what, resources ultimate skill from ultimate skills with. I'm not. Do you know what ultimate scales with? I think it scales with
It's.
Magicka because it's a class
I
skill.
I think it's Magicka. Yeah, absolutely. I think it is. Benefactor, are you still answering questions in chat? Okay, yeah, I think you are.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, I see a lot of questions going by for you, so I'm just skipping them for now so I can get caught up.
Beachcomber, there are no indicators on the map. The closest you're going to get is in the achievements panel. There is a hint, and that's all you get.
Yeah, a hint would be something like you'll find a sky shard in a graveyard overlooking a cliff, and there'll be a graveyard somewhere that's like on the edge of a cliff, and there'll be a sky shard there. It's I mean it's not like super cryptic. They're pretty good hints. If you've been around the zone, you'll know what it's talking about. In terms of PvP, what situations are some DK ultimates such as Dragon Leap or Magma Armor a viable choice? Dragon Leap, it's
Dragon Leap's
bursty.
really good for burst. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Molten Armor,
If you're like gonna charge into a big battle and you know you're gonna get fucked up, that's a good one. Cause you take like no damage. You hit like for 20. If you got a healer, you're not going down. You're gonna be the last one
Yeah.
standing.
a healer. Well, if you have a healer with you and you pop Magmar, you're not going to die because it's caps your damage at 3% of your health, which is silly.
Alex, do you think the swing time for two-handed weapons can be too long in PvP? I found in crowded situations it can be tough to connect. Don't try to power attack so much. Try to power attack when they're stunned or rooted or something. Otherwise, you can just swing away.
Yeah.
Assuming you're fully buffed, how close can you get to an enemy in stealth from the front? The front's harder. You can get pretty close. The thing is, if just because they can see you on their screen doesn't mean you're detected, you can still hit them for critical damage. They have to like break you out, I'm pretty sure. So if you walk right up in someone's face and like AFK, you can just hit them. If you sneak up behind someone and they can't see you at all, you're still going to get the crit damage. The only difference is if they can actually visibly see you or not. But you can get pretty close. It's like almost melee range. You get pretty close if you're fully decked out. Unless they have Mage Light, then you're going to get nowhere close.
You know where Suicidal Gremlin. When you use an ultimate, it consumes all of your ultimate pool, so you can't like use an ultimate twice or anything.
Right, it uses all of your ultimate, period.
Yeah.
Except for like Overload, which uses it slowly.
But that's because it's a toggle and weird.
Yeah, except for Overload, that's the only one. What is your view on soft caps, and do you think they're absolutely required for balance? Absolutely required? No, but I like the idea of soft caps. They make it really easy to keep people from getting too out of hand and like the gear gap get too crazy. For like new people have terrible gear and old people have awesome gear, so they're too strong, like impossibly strong to kill. It helps
I
with
also
that a
like that
bit.
it creates interesting itemization choices.
Yeah, and it makes you spread out. It's not so like a good example is like WoW. If you were a warlock or a shadow priest for the longest time, you wanted spell power and you gave no fucks for anything else. Like you cared about spell power and that's it. Spell power was your stat. If you put a cap on spell power, then you get so much and you're like, okay, well now what do I want? And it adds a lot more interesting things. So I think it's good. It's just they have to be careful with it because you don't want people to get like annoyed and feel like they can't make any progress because of everything's soft capped. Um, does mailing work? Can you mail cross faction, and what all items can you mail? Can you mail amounts of gold or trebuchets? They can mail trebuchets. You can mail across factions, and you can. I mean, mailing does work, and you can mail about anything. Yeah, you can mail about anything, pretty much, unless it's bound. If you can't trade it, you can't mail it. There's a few bound items. Can spells sneak attack? No.
Nope.
No, they can't. But there are some abilities that may cost magicka that can. For example,
Searing Strike. If it's a melee
Searing
range,
Strike.
yeah, it's a melee range skill, then you can sneak attack with it.
Another example would be like Nightblade. A lot of Nightblade abilities can sneak attack.
Assassin's Blade, Deathstroke.
Is there a faster method to level Mage's Guild or only by reading books? Nope, you're reading books. Soul Magic is only leveled through the storyline. Yep, those you got to do it the hard way. Two-handed DPS on a DK or Templar, will heavy or medium armor be better? It's according to what you're going for. I mean, if you mean better DPS, medium. If you mean better, like if you were dueling someone, which was more likely to make you win, it could be either one. Because the heavy armor is going to give you some other bonuses, like healing gained, and you actually get some power attack damage. I mean, there's some good things in both. Is there a cap on number of allies that can be buffed from Molten Weapons DK ability? There is, right? 8 or 10.
I think it's 8, but I don't think that should be there. It felt like it was 8, but
I think that eventually it will be 12 because we know that's what adventure zones are going to be. So I think they'll make it 12. I think eventually it'll be 12 because people are going to complain otherwise.
Anarchy Jacket, there is not a cap on how many enemies a AoE skill can hit, so you can hit everything with Dark Talons.
Oh, feel free, you guys. You can also ask questions about PvP, like that you're watching. If you see someone do something you haven't seen before, or whatever. And also, if the thread start or if the video starts getting like in a boring section and we're not doing anything like this, I can fast forward it.
Hot Sauce. Ultimate has one pool, and it's like it goes up to 1,000. So it's because there's some ultimates that scale with how much ultimate you have. Deathstroke scales with how much ultimate you have up to a maximum. So you can build up to 1,000, and then it doesn't matter what you have on your bar.
Technically, it goes to 999. People want to be specific. It's 999. No, mine went to 999.
Mine was 1,000.
Well, I think that I'm bugged then. That's not fair. You had one more. Mine went to 999.
Zacher, Empowering Chains should apply to all of Flurry's 6 hits, because it's still one weapon attack.
Erlix, or anyone else at TF, what would be the best armor type for a Paladin-style Resto Staff Templar that also uses two-hander?
5 light, 2 medium.
I would go 5 light, 2 heavy. Go for the power attack damage and the extra armor, and use your class abilities. That's what I would do. I actually kind of did do it. I went a two-hander, and I didn't find anyone who was really good when I was doing it, like that I thought would be like a serious challenge anyway. But the people that I did run into, I like completely stomped them, so it worked that good. There's actually a part in this video at the main end where I kind of do that, but I have a bow. But I still use a lot of melee abilities. Two-handed would work. Is there a cap for stealth detection radius reduction? No, I don't think so. I think you can get all of it that's in the game, and you're just really hard to see.
Yeah, because it only comes from a couple spots, so I doubt you could cap it.
Yeah, and the thing is, Mage Light completely counteracts all. It's just a straight range. You can see them. There's no getting inside the range. You just pop up. It's like stealth lore in Dark Age. You're not getting through it. Alex, do you think there'll be a lot of real-world trading in TISO, as in golden item sellings for real cash? Yeah, there's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
If it stays the way it is, yeah, it's inevitable.
Yeah, you're gonna see it. What is my opinion on the issue? I think they need to keep it in check, but you can't stop it. So just keep it from getting too bad. The best you can hope for.
Suicidal Garment asks, do mounts degrade over time? No, they don't. You don't have to keep spending on them. They'll just sit there until you upgrade them again.
Yep. Baron of War, the scaling of damage, light, blah blah blah. You know, you said. Bow scales with stamina and staff does scale with magicka. Yes. Sorcerer or Templar for Spell Sword Battle Mage? Sorcerer.
Yeah, probably Sorcerer.
I would say Sorcerer. If you want to be like buffing yourself a lot and feeling like a tank in cloth armor and beating people up with some spells, yeah, I mean that's Sorcerer pretty much. Templar feels a lot more like a paladin than a battle mage. Maybe like a Shakaden is what you could make with a Templar.
Yeah.
How will Stamina Magicka affect builds? I want to build a Battle Mage. Will I have to stack Stamina over Magicka? If I want to build a Siphon Bow Nightblade, do you need both Stamina and Magicka? It's according to how you build. Like, the more magical costing abilities you use for damage, the more Magicka you're going to want. So, if you try to, like, hybrid, yeah, you may want points in both. You may just use, like, Magicka buffs and physical or stamina damage, so you'll only want to stack Magicka. You only want to stack physical or stack stamina, I mean. It's whatever abilities you're using, really. Okay, so will each campaign have a different emperor, or will there be one emperor overall? Each campaign can have a different one, but it will have a different one. I don't think you'll ever see an emperor crowned in all campaigns at once. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You are welcome, Sabanash. The way you can repay us and thank us is to go to mine and Phasia streams and hit follow. That's all you have to do. Click the little follow button. That's all the payment we expect or hope for. How do racial bonuses work with soft caps? They just go right to the soft cap. You don't get the full effect if you hit soft cap. Its effect is just like anything else. Will TF as a whole support the movement of merchants to keep the economy stable and thriving?
I hope we do set up a trading, like a trading section of the forums.
We very well may.
Yeah,
it's very possible. It's according to how things working out, whether we think it'll be successful and work out. I want to try out a DK Fire Mage build with 2 heavy, 5 light, wanting to focus more on Magicka or stamina or close to equal. Magicka.
I have played that build.
And prepare to destroy.
I have played that build, and yes, you will destroy things.
Any reason to go back to PvE after VR10 gear?
Yes. There's still the second tier of VR dungeons, and then there's the adventure zones that's going to be added later. So yes, there's absolutely reasons to go back, because you still need to get gear from those areas.
Yeah, I mean, adventure zones are going to be... It's like saying, is there any reason to go into a WoW raid at 50? You know, of course there is. Or 90 or whatever the hell.
Chazazul asks, when building a DK tank, is Earthen Heart a good secondary skill line to focus on, or to provide good support with Molten Weapons and Obsidian Shield? How strong would these buffs be during large PvP situations? They'll be pretty good, except for the fact that they cap at a really low player count right now. But they're still really good buff skills in any DK build. Particularly if you're like in a small group, you should split up. Which one? Like if you have two DKs, have one person bring one of each, so that it's not all on one person. So you can focus your actual build a bit more. I think both of them are really good. I think any build should consider having at least one Earthen Heart skill because of the stamina return and the ultimate gain.
Does increasing magic attribute increase damage and healing, damage from spells and healing amount? Absolutely yes. Nobling is actually busy. He got pulled away to work on TF, so we'll be kind of splitting up his questions best we can. There's some other people in chat. Please, Sorks, too, so they can help from ER. Does Critical Surge give you enough heal to the point where you don't need a healer if you're hitting hard and fast enough? Yep.
Apparently, yeah.
Also, I hear the siren going off at the nearby university telling me there's a tornado nearby, so if I suddenly get taken away and die, I'll be back later.
Just follow Ed Phasey to Soul Bring line up.
Yeah. Do you think it's worth tanking as an Imperial while using a dagger instead of a sword in order to get additional attack speed? There's no difference in attack speed, is there, with the sword or dagger?
Sword and shield doesn't depend on what your main hand is. It only depends that you're wearing a shield, and then you have a one-handed weapon.
Yeah, so don't worry about what's in your one-hander. Get whatever is best for you.
Yep.
Can our characters cast spells in melee from the top of a horse? Nope. You gotta get off that thing. No mounted combat. Alex, when building a DK tank, that's a good question for me. Is Earthen Heart a good at secondary? Oh, you already.
I already answered that.
Are there any other pets in the Scuttler and the Mud Crab? Yeah, there's a bunch.
There's Benefactor knows a bunch of the other pets that are available.
Yeah, there's a bunch, including a monkey. That'll be really rare.
There's also a Dreamer spider pet that you can receive.
Yep. There's one of those as well. There's a bunch. I don't want to ruin too many of them. There's a bunch. Any idea the difference in power for heavy and light attacks with low versus high stamina? There's not any difference.
I mean, your power attack's going to hit more because you have high stamina. Or
I think he means current pull.
No, you're right.
Yeah, current pull. No, if you have a higher maximum, yes, you'll hit harder. Sage Live, welcome to the live Q&A. Get all your questions out.
Before Alex misses them all, because he will.
Yeah, I'm missing a bunch of questions. I'm really far behind, so I'm just kind of skipping around. I'm sorry, guys. I can't answer everyone. But Phasius will be up after me, and he'll answer some of the ones I miss. Can you explain to me what soft caps are? I'm confused. There's a video. If you just search YouTube for Nobling Overcharge, you'll probably find it for like the top result. And watch that video. He explains it pretty well. How responsive is the weapon swap? It's like a 1.5 seconds, 2 second delay when swapping each time it's intended. So switching bars to buff isn't exactly super effective.
Nope. You kind of want to distribute your buffs across your bars.
Yeah. How can you tell when you hit a soft cap? You can also see that in the video Nobling made, but basically it'll just have a little icon next to it in your stat sheet, and it'll say it's overcharged.
It's pretty easy to tell. I see a lot of questions coming in about like Dexter Staff fire effects and the DK Kindling passive. Kindling only affects the burning status that is applied anytime you deal a fire damage. So, like Force Shock specifically applies burning, but anytime you deal fire damage, you have a chance of applying burning, and that is what Kindling affects. It doesn't like just increase fire damage or like fire damage over time.
Any idea when ER will start recruiting again? Like open recruiting? Open recruiting, we're not really going to be for a while, I don't think. Maybe after release. We are accepting applications, but no promises that we even reply to them unless you are extremely exceptional. And I want to stress the word exceptional. We get like 50 applications a day right now. If you don't have a really good resume and really work on your application and really impress us on the first read, we're gonna decline it. I'm sorry, we just have so many. It's yeah, we can only do so much. Phasey, think you can find the Softcat video and link it?
Someone has already linked it.
Oh, okay. Is a
I
Nightblade
can
Mage
post it
viable in
again for you.
PvP? I don't think I would go with a Nightblade Mage. I don't.
Siphoning Strikes, Destro Staff, get all the extra mana back.
Yeah, you might be able to make it work, but I think there's better choices. Strongest Nightblade build at the moment. I think what Benefactor has said is so good is going Stamina with only using Magicka abilities that are buffs like Blur and things like that, and just kind of use some Stamina abilities and auto attacks. If someone has a 10% spell damage reduction, how will the minus 40% weakness balance affect them? It's going to reduce 40% of their spell reduction, so it would knock it down to like 6%. Does multiple stacks of Molten Weapons stack at all? No.
No.
Okay, I'm just going to stay at the bottom of chat, and I'm just going to answer questions, so I don't get so far behind.
You're way up there.
Yeah, I skipped a bunch of questions. I'm sorry, just have to ask them again. Erlix, is the Nightblade ability Blur any good in PvP? 15% dodge does not seem like a huge buff. It's pretty huge. It also goes up with levels to like 30 or 40% or something at max. What is it, Benny? Do you know what the maximum is for Blur?
It's currently at 25%. There's a morph for it that can go up to 50% for a couple of for about 4 seconds.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. It's a lot of percentage.
It also stacks with other abilities, so
Yeah, like the medium armor ability, or
Yeah, the
someone,
one.
or like the abilities that Templars can do to make you have a chance to miss, so you'd be missing and dodging.
If your skill costs Magicka, as in the DK Searing Strike, does that mean it automatically scales off Magicka points? Is that the case on all Magicka consuming abilities? Yes, all Magicka consuming abilities scale with your max Magicka.
Yes. All that I can think of off the top of my head right now. Or like
No, it's
Dunmer,
all.
Breton, or Altmer for DK using a Destro staff and a Resto staff. Destro and Resto? Altmer?
Yeah, if you're gonna do Destro, Resto, Dunmer, or Altmer.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think you would do Dunmer because you'd get really low benefit from the... I would say Breton or Altmer.
Yeah, Breton or Altmer.
Yeah. If you have 6 items from a special set, like whatever set, with the bonus double, no. Once you get the set, you have the set. More items doesn't give you anything extra. Can I take a look at your PvP build? Grasshopper I already have in your application. But yes, you'll probably get a response to that eventually, sometime. Destructive touch, clinch, causes disorient and chance to be thrown off balance. What's the difference? Disorient is like a mez. They're just standing there. They can't do anything, but it breaks on damage. Off balance is they can still act, but if they're power attacked, they're knocked on their ass and stunned, I think. Am I right on that, Phasius? I think so.
Something like that, yeah. It is something like that.
If blur scales, does evasion scale as well? Yes, and then the morph of it, you get more bonus per each piece of medium armor you're wearing, I think.
it could go up to 7% more for medium armor.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Is Nightblade a hybrid? If you build Siphon Bow, won't damage both be lower? Do you think hybrids are not as viable as non-hybrids? I'm of the mind that hybrids are not as viable, but I could be proven wrong. There hasn't been enough testing, but I don't think they are as good. If it's like a true hybrid, like you're doing damage with Stamina and Magicka, I don't think that's as good.
I think you have to be very careful on what you're doing with your hybrid build because it's really like there will probably be good hybrid builds, but it's really easy to make a terrible hybrid build.
Yeah, it is. It's really easy to screw your build up if you aren't careful. And I mean, you can fix it. It's just you may suck when you try it the first few times.
PLX, I don't think. Do you think building an avoidance tank will be more viable in PvP? I think making a avoidance tank is very good in either situation because of just like the pure resource costs. I know Benny runs both evasion skills, so he might have a different opinion than I do, but I don't think it's that good. You might be able to do. I would probably say run one or the other, so that you have a good resource pool in general.
I saw a good question, but now I can't find it.
That's a lot of questions. Suicidal Gremlin asking you acquire Gremlin soul gems from other places other than dungeons/shops. No, you can buy them from shops. You will get them out of chests. You'll get them from cave boss dungeons. You'll get them from regular dungeons.
Do I
kind of get them?
Do I think lightning staff is weaker than fire and ice staff? Only very slightly. Very, very,
I don't think
very
people
slightly.
have found the good use for lightning staff yet, but I do think it will be good eventually. And once there's more static groups roaming around, I think the group will have a lightning staff.
Yeah, it's
because
very possible.
concussion is really good.
Yeah, I would say slightly worse, just because snare is good and more damage is good and explosions and all that. Stun versus knockdown skills, is the extra animation getting up true? Yes, there's a little bit extra animation getting up from a knockdown than a stun.
But you can still slide around when you're doing that animation. I don't think it actually affects you in any way.
Okay, there you go, maybe not.
I just do a knockdown as a stun. It's basically the same
Can
thing.
I give a link to download this great UI add-on? There will be a link somewhere on TF before the next beta weekend. That's all I can give you for now, because there's nowhere else to get it right now.
Yeah.
Are light armor tanks viable using damage reductions and armor buffs? Which classes would do this the best? Yes, Sork and Dragon Knights would do it the best. A Templar can do it, because I've done it. A Nightblade...
Nightblade doesn't have any armor buff increases.
Probably
They'd have to
not.
either use a movable or circular of protection, which are not as good as, say, bound armor and lightning form or spike armor.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've both done it. It's quite fun. You can do some extra silly things with all the extra magicka.
Is stamina cost of CC break, block, dodge roll, sprint percentage based or fixed cost based on level? It's a percentage base for the CC break and the dodge roll. The
Block is
sprint.
percentage based. Sprint is a static number. I think it's 20.
There you go.
Yep.
What is significant differences? But well, it would cause someone to want to be a Sork killer rather than a Templar, or vice versa. Sork has more CC, more utility to go with his heals, and a Templar has more heals to go with his heals. That would be the big difference. One has more
More
utility.
heals to go with
one's-
your heals.
Yeah, one has more actual raw healing power, and the other one has more support utility. How many skill points should be able to attain in total? It's like 420 or something. It's a whole friggin' bunch.
I think it's a bit lower, but yeah.
Maybe it's 390. It's a lot. A lot of them are really hard to get. They're like the higher PvP levels and stuff, but there's a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Is a special class required to play a healer, or can you play Sork killer? Yes, you can play a Sork killer. A Templar healer, in my opinion, is the best by a small margin, but you could heal on anything. I would say